Welcome back to the channel. First up, the 2000 Monticello Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark. If you're a coin collector, you might be wondering what's the current value of this coin in today's market. Well, in this video we'll break it down for you and explore its value in good condition as of now. So let's get started. The Monticello nickel is part of the Jefferson nickel series, which was first introduced in 1938. The obverse side features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, designed by Felix Schlag. But this particular coin from the year 2000 commemorates Jefferson nickel Monticello, located in Virginia, which is depicted on the reverse side of the coin. The 2000 edition was part of the regular minting with the familiar D mint mark, denoting it was produced at the Denver Mint. In numismatic terms, good condition refers to a coin that shows moderate wear. The details of the coin's design, such as Jefferson's features and Monticello's structure, are still discernible, but there may be some light scratches or minor discoloration. The coin may not have the sharpness or lustrous finish of higher-grade specimens, but it's still in decent shape for collectors and investors alike. Now, when it comes to the value of the 2000 Jefferson nickel in good condition, you might be surprised to learn that it holds more value than just its face value of 5 cents. In today's auction market, the 2000 Monticello nickel with the D mint mark in good condition typically ranges between $29,000. It's also worth noting that the market for US coins can fluctuate, and rare variations, or those in higher grades, can significantly affect the value. For instance, if this coin were in higher conditions such as fine or extremely fine, it could be worth more, while nickels with unique errors or other variations often see their values soar. One key factor in determining the value of a coin at auction is demand. Certain years or mints might be more sought after by collectors. In general, the 2000 Monticello nickel with the D mint mark doesn't have any major errors or exceptional qualities that would cause its value to skyrocket. However, the coin is still an important part of US history and a great addition to any collection, especially for those who focus on Jefferson nickels. Next up, the most valuable 1967 Roosevelt dime in dirty condition, a coin that might surprise you when you find out its current auction value. Let's get into it. The Roosevelt dime was first issued in 1946 in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. The 1967 Roosevelt dime, like many other coins, has its own specific features and characteristics. And while you might think a coin with some wear and dirt on it would have little to no value, that's not always the case. Now, first things first, let's break down the significance of the large date and the lack of a mint mark on the coin. You may notice that the large date refers to the design where the numbers 1 and 9 in the year are larger compared to other years in the 1960s series. The large date design was introduced specifically in 1968, but 1967 versions were still made with this larger date feature. As for the mint mark, since this coin lacks one, it means it was struck in Philadelphia, the mint where coins without a mint mark are produced. Now, here's the kicker: our coin today is in dirty condition. You can see the tarnish and grime that has built up over the years. While you might think this would drastically reduce the coin's value, the truth is there are still some collectors who look for coins in this condition, especially when it comes to error coins or coins that have historical significance, like this one. Less than pristine state, it's typically graded lower. A coin like this one with visible grime scratches or surface marks would likely fall into the good or very good categories for grading. This condition directly impacts its auction value. But don't be discouraged just yet. Let's see how much this coin could actually be worth. Now, let's talk numbers. The value of a 1967 Roosevelt dime in dirty condition can fluctuate based on a few key factors: the market demand, the coin's condition, and whether collectors are willing to pay a premium for such a coin. There are several factors that influence a coin's value even beyond condition. For example, scarcity plays a big role. While a 1967 Roosevelt dime may seem common, the large date variety with no mint mark is a little more intriguing to collectors. Plus, the general interest in Roosevelt dimes has been on the rise as collectors look for coins that commemorate a significant historical figure like FDR. Other elements that can impact the value include demand in the market, historical significance, and whether or not there are specific errors or unusual characteristics with the coin. A coin that might seem dirty or unremarkable to the untrained eye could still have some surprising value to the right buyer. So there you have it, the 1967 Roosevelt dime large date with no mint mark in dirty condition is worth anywhere from $45,000 on today's auction market. It's not a high-value coin, but for those of you with one of these in your collection, it's still a great find and a solid addition to your numismatic journey. Next up, the 1965 Monticello Jefferson nickel, particularly the one without a mint mark. We'll uncover its value in today's auction market and why it might just be worth more than you think, even in circulated condition. The 1965 Jefferson nickel is part of the U.S. Mint's long-running series, which began in 1938. It features the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse side, and Monticello, his Virginia home, on the reverse. The design was created by renowned engraver Felix Schlag, and it has remained largely unchanged for decades. The 1965 Jefferson nickel is often overlooked due to its widespread circulation, but it holds an interesting characteristic. This coin was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, but here's the kicker: the 1965 coin, minted in Philadelphia, did not feature a mint mark while the Denver coin did. So if you have a 1965 nickel without a mint mark, you've got a piece that could stand out in your collection, especially when compared to those that bear the D-mint mark. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. The key factor influencing the value of any coin is its condition, and the 1965 Jefferson nickel is no different. While most of these coins were circulated heavily, many can still be found in decent, even fine condition, especially the ones without a mint mark. In circulated condition, this coin won't have the sharp, crisp details that a coin in mint state would have. It may show signs of wear, such as small scratches, loss of luster, or even a bit of discoloration. But here's the interesting part: even in circulated condition, these coins can still have value in today's auction market. So how much is the 1965 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark worth today? Well, in circulated condition you won't be making a fortune, but it's not just pocket change either. In general, the value of a 1965 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in circulated condition ranges between $44,000, but here's where it gets interesting: on the higher end of that range, coins in very fine or good condition can sometimes fetch up to $60,000 or a little more at auction. While the 1965 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is not considered extremely rare, the demand for certain vintage nickels, especially those without mint marks, does play a crucial role in driving up prices in the auction market. Collectors often seek to complete sets or find coins with unique characteristics, and that can work in your favor if you're selling. If you've got a 1965 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark and you're thinking about selling it, there are a few things to keep in mind. First, be sure to check the condition of your coin carefully. If it's still relatively crisp with visible details, you might want to get it professionally graded. A grade can significantly affect the value at auction. Next up, the 1943 Jefferson nickel with the large S mint mark. This isn't just any nickel, it's a true treasure from World War II. Whether you're a collector, investor, or just curious about coin values, this video will show you why this coin has gained significant value in today's auction market, especially in circulated condition. So let's jump in and discover the history, rarity, and auction value of the 1943 S Jefferson nickel. First, let's set the stage. In 1943, America was deep into World War II, and metal shortages were affecting many industries, including the U.S. Mint. Nickel, a key material in many industrial processes, was in high demand for the war effort. So, for a brief period from 1942 to 1945, the U.S. Mint changed the composition of the Jefferson nickel. Instead of nickel, these coins were struck in a mixture of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. This is why 1943 nickels are often referred to as war nickels. The 1943 Jefferson nickel was produced at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The version with the S mint mark was produced in San Francisco, and the mint mark appears prominently above Monticello on the reverse side of the coin. This large mint mark not only helped the mint distinguish war nickels from earlier ones, but also made these coins a favorite among collectors. Now, let's talk about why this coin is so valuable today. Although over 100 million Jefferson nickels were produced at the San Francisco Mint in 1943, many were heavily circulated and often worn down. Finding one with clear details, especially in circulated condition, is becoming more challenging. The silver content also makes these nickels more desirable, as they are part of a unique period in US coinage. Me. Collectors love the 1943 Jefferson nickel because it tells the story of a country facing the challenges of war. Owning one of these coins is like holding a piece of American history that survived both the war and the hands of millions of people. But that historic and patriotic value drives up demand, especially in today's market. Let's discuss condition. Like all coins, the value of the 1943 Jefferson nickel depends on its grade. However, even in circulated condition, this coin can be valuable due to its silver content and historical significance. The grades typically range from heavily worn good to moderately worn very fine, with circulated examples in very fine condition commanding higher prices. So, if you have a 1943 Jefferson nickel that's been in circulation, take a closer look at its details, especially the large S mint mark and the condition of Monticello on the reverse. The more visible the details, the better, but that's not all. Some of these coins feature die errors or striking anomalies, such as doubled mint marks or unusual die cracks, and those varieties can skyrocket in value, sometimes even reaching $67,000 more in circulated condition if the error is distinct and visible. One important note: because of their silver content and historical value, 1943 Jefferson nickels are sometimes counterfeited. Authentic war nickels will have a distinct large mint mark above Monticello, and their weight will be different due to the silver composition. Be cautious when purchasing and consider having the coin authenticated by a reputable service like NGC, or if you're planning to invest or sell. So, there you have it. The 1943 Jefferson nickel is a fascinating piece of history with a special place in the world of US coins. Its silver content, historical background, and collector appeal make it a valuable addition to any collection. Even in circulated condition, this coin can hold considerable worth in today's auction market, and it's a fantastic way to own a piece of American history. Next up, the 1998 Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark in fine condition. If you're a fan of US coinage, you know the Jefferson nickel has a long and interesting history, but this specific issue is a little different. Stick around as we explore its value, rarity, and why it's a standout in today's auction market. First, let's talk about what makes the 1998 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark so special. For those of you who may not be familiar, the Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, and the Monticello design, which you see on the reverse JP, has been a constant feature ever since. This nickel commemorates the home of Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president, located in Virginia. On the reverse of the coin, we have the Monticello building, which is elegantly depicted. The coin's obverse features a profile of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. The 1998 issue, in particular, is part of the long-running series that showcases some beautiful coin art. Now, let's zoom in on this particular 1998 nickel. This one carries the D mint mark, which means it was minted at the Denver Mint. While many people might think of pennies or dimes when they think of valuable coins, the Jefferson nickel has its own niche in the collecting world, especially when you look at certain years and conditions. Speaking of condition, the coin we're discussing today is in fine condition. What does that mean in the world of numismatics? Fine refers to a coin that has some noticeable wear but still maintains clear features and legibility in fine condition. You'll see that the design elements are still relatively sharp, though there may be some light wear on Jefferson's portrait and on the Monticello building. It's not pristine, but it's far from being in poor shape. Now, let's get to the important part: the value. In today's auction market, the value of a 1998 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark in fine condition can vary, but generally it's worth anywhere from $66,000, depending on factors like market demand, the coin's specific wear, and any minor differences in strike quality. However, certain factors could push the price higher. For example, if a nickel is part of a collection that's well maintained, or if it has an interesting provenance, it could fetch more. In the current market, we're seeing auction results for fine condition 1998 Jefferson nickels fall within this range, but when it's paired with the right collector or at a premium auction, it could go for more. That said, the 1998 Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel remains a great piece for collectors who appreciate the history behind the design and the era it represents. While this coin may not break the bank, Like some other rarer mintages, it is still an interesting piece to own, and it can be a great addition to any collection. Next up, the 1979 Monticello Jefferson nickel with D mint mark era, especially when it's in fine condition. We'll dive into its history, its unique era, and most importantly, its value in today's auction market. So let's get started. The 1979 Jefferson nickel is part of the famous Monticello series, which has been in circulation since 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, it features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the image of Jefferson's home, Monticello, on the reverse. This coin is already iconic, but what makes the 1979 version even more interesting is a rare error found on some of the coins, specifically the D mint mark era. Now, for some context, the mint mark on these coins indicates where they were struck. The D mint mark stands for the Denver Mint. However, in some 1979 Jefferson nickels, a minting error occurred where the D mint mark was incorrectly placed or struck, resulting in a distinctive flaw that collectors are eager to get their hands on. However, the rarity of the mint mark error isn't the only factor influencing its value. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in its market worth. The coin we're discussing today is in fine condition, which is important because the grading of this coin affects its price. So let's talk about what fine condition really means. In coin grading, fine refers to a coin that has clear details but shows noticeable wear. On a 1979 Jefferson nickel in fine condition, you should still be able to see the facial features of Thomas Jefferson and the outline of Monticello on the reverse. While the details aren't as sharp as in uncirculated or mint state coins, they are still well defined. Now, let's get to the good part, the value. The 1979 Monticello Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark era in fine condition can fetch quite a price on the auction market. In today's market, these coins are often valued anywhere between $58,000, depending on the severity of the error and its overall appeal. Some even sell for higher prices if there are multiple errors, or if the coin is part of a rare find. So, what does this mean for you as a collector or investor? If you come across a 1979 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark era, especially in fine condition, don't overlook it. It could be worth significantly more than its face value, and with demand for error coins rising, it might just be the perfect addition to your collection. Remember, error coins are always fascinating because they add a layer of history and rarity to a coin's story. The 1979 Monticello Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark era is one of those coins that collectors will be hunting for in the years to come, so don't let one slip through your fingers. Next, 2004 with P mint mark. We'll be looking at what makes this coin special, its value in today's auction market, and why it might be worth a second look in your collection. Let's start by looking at the coin itself. The Roosevelt dime, first minted in 1946, features the iconic profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Its design, created by artist John R. Sin Nock, has been unchanged for decades. But today we're focusing on a 2004 Roosevelt dime, which carries the P mint mark, indicating it was minted in Philadelphia. Now, when it comes to dimes from this era, the 2004 issue isn't particularly rare in general. The mint produced over 1 billion of these coins. However, the value of your 2004 Roosevelt dime will depend heavily on its condition and the market trends. Speaking of condition, today we're looking at a 2004 Roosevelt dime in fine condition. You may wonder, what exactly does fine condition mean? A coin in fine condition will show clear signs of wear, but it still retains much of its detail. The features of Roosevelt's face and the torch on the reverse are still visible, but there might be some light scratches, dings, or fading from circulation. Now, let's talk numbers. The value of a 2004 Roosevelt dime with P mint mark in fine condition is generally not astronomical, but it can still fetch a respectable price in the right market. In today's auction market, you can expect this coin to sell for around $6,000, depending on factors like demand, the specific auction platform, and whether the coin is being sold individually or as part of a lot. While the 2004 Roosevelt dime isn't particularly rare, certain factors can affect its value. Coins in higher grades like uncirculated or proof versions could command higher prices, especially if they have unique characteristics like toning or errors. However, for a fine condition coin with P mint mark, you're looking at a modest but still collectible price. Interestingly, if you happen to find a 2004 Roosevelt dime with P mint mark in a coin roll or in your pocket change, it could still be worth more than its face value due to its age and condition. But don't expect to retire on the proceeds from this one. If you're selling it at auction, you're likely to get a fair value, but not a huge profit. So why is the 2004 Roosevelt dime significant in the first place? It may not be the rarest coin in the world, but it is part of a beloved series that has been in production for over 70 years. Roosevelt dimes in general hold historical and numismatic importance, which is why collectors keep an eye on even the more common years. At the end of the day, the value of your 2004 Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark in fine condition comes down to what you're willing to pay for it as a collector and what buyers are willing to pay when it comes time to sell. If you find one in your pocket change, it's always nice to know it's worth more than just 10 cents, but if you're looking to make a fortune, this one probably won't be the coin that gets you there. Next up, the 1964 Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark error. First, let's set the stage with a bit of history. The Jefferson nickel, also known as the Monticello 5-cent, has been an essential part of American currency since it was first introduced in 1938. It features the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, while the iconic Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, adorns the reverse side. In 1964, the U.S. Mint produced an impressive quantity of nickels, striking over 1 billion coins that year to meet the nation's rising demand for coinage. Due to the high production, a number of these coins were minted in Denver and bore a D mint mark. Interestingly, this year also became known for an array of error coins that made it out of the mint undetected, including the 1964 D Jefferson nickel we're talking about today. Now, you might be asking, what exactly makes this coin so special? It's the error. The D mint mark error on the 1964 Jefferson nickel is one of those mysterious quirks in coin production that gets collectors excited. In some of these coins, the D mint mark is either prepunched or misaligned, and others even feature what's known as a double die error, which can make letters and design details look doubled or slightly blurry. Alright, now let's talk about the coin's condition. Usually, when it comes to coin collecting, the condition or grade of a coin plays a major role in determining its value. Coins in pristine condition can fetch high prices, but what about those that show signs of wear and tear? For the 1964 D-era Jefferson nickel, even coins in less than perfect condition, often referred to as bad condition, can still hold considerable value. That's because these errors make it a scarce find, and rarity can sometimes outweigh the demand for perfect condition. Currently, the value of a 1964 D-era Jefferson nickel in bad condition can range quite a bit, depending on the exact nature of the error. At the lower end, you might find these coins selling for around $44,000. However, it's always worth checking reputable auction sites, like eBay or dedicated coin auction houses, where prices can fluctuate based on demand and the rarity of the exact error. Remember, these prices can change, so it's always a good idea to keep an eye on the market if you're looking to buy or sell. If you think you might have a 1964 D-era Jefferson nickel, here's a quick guide on what to look for. Examine the D mint mark carefully. If it appears doubled, repunched, or strangely placed, you could be holding a rare error coin. A magnifying glass can be a huge help for spotting these details. For those of you who are collectors, here are a few tips if you're interested in collecting error coins like the 1964 D Jefferson nickel. Keep your eyes peeled at flea markets, coin shops, or even your pocket change. Errors often slip through the cracks, so you might find a hidden gem without having to spend a fortune. Next up, the 2010 Roosevelt 1 dime with the P mint mark, and just how much it's worth if you happen to find one in uncirculated condition. Could this modern coin be a hidden gem in your collection? Let's find out. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing. The 2010 version of this dime was minted by the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, as indicated by the P mint mark on the reverse side of the coin. This coin, measuring 17.91 millimeters in diameter and weighing just 2.268 grams, is part of the ongoing series. And while it's a regular issue coin, its value can still be quite interesting depending on its condition. An uncirculated coin means that it hasn't been used in regular commerce and shows no signs of wear or aging. These coins have sharp, crisp details, and the metal's original luster is still visible. On an uncirculated Roosevelt dime, You should see clean, well-defined features, especially in places like Franklin Roosevelt's profile, the torch on the reverse, and the overall brightness of the coin. Now let's get to the big question. How much is a 2010 Roosevelt dime worth today in uncirculated condition? Well, the answer depends on a couple of factors, but generally, the 2010 P Mint marked dimes are not considered rare in terms of overall mintage. The US Mint produced billions of these coins in 2010. Now, while $2,000 is the general ballpark, keep in mind that the value of a coin can fluctuate based on several factors. For example, if the coin is part of a set or has an unusual feature, it might fetch a higher price. Coins in absolutely perfect condition, often graded by services like or as MS or higher, could go for upwards of $5,000, especially if there's increased collector interest in that year. Also, the current demand for certain types of coins and collectors' interest in specific years and mints can cause prices to rise or fall over time. So, if you're looking to sell or buy, it's always a good idea to keep an eye on market trends if you're looking to find out what your 2010 Roosevelt dime is worth right now. The best way is to check current listings on auction sites like eBay or consult a professional coin grading service. You can search by the mint mark and condition to find coins with similar characteristics, and that will give you a good idea of how much you might get in today's market. Next up, the Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel from 1995. You might be surprised to learn that this particular nickel, especially with P mint mark in fine condition, holds significant value in today's auction market. So, let's explore why this coin is worth talking about. The Jefferson nickel, first issued in 1938, pays tribute to Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin features a left-facing portrait of Jefferson on the obverse and a depiction of Monticello Jefferson's estate on the reverse. The 1995 nickel was produced in two varieties: the P Mint mark, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and the D Mint mark, struck in Denver. Today we'll specifically focus on the 1995 P Mint mark version, which is often sought after by collectors. Before we get into the value, let's talk about the condition. Coins are graded on a scale from $50,000, with 70 being a perfect coin. A coin in fine condition typically shows moderate wear but still retains clear details of the design. For the 1995 P Jefferson nickel in fine condition, you can expect to see some light wear on Jefferson's portrait and Monticello, but overall, the coin should still be easily identifiable and aesthetically pleasing. Now let's get to the exciting part, the market value. In today's auction market, a 1995 P Jefferson nickel in fine condition can fetch anywhere from $87,000. However, it's crucial to note that auction results can vary based on factors like the coin's exact condition, market demand, and the reputation of the auction house. Some auction sites have recorded sales of well-preserved examples going for higher prices, especially if they have been certified by professional grading services like or NGC. These certified coins often attract more serious collectors, which can drive the price up significantly. If you're considering adding the 1995 P Jefferson nickel to your collection, here are a few tips. First, always buy from reputable dealers or auction sites. Check the coin's grading and condition thoroughly when storing your coins. Make sure to use protective holders to prevent scratches or tarnishing. Keeping your coins in a controlled environment with low humidity will also help maintain their condition over time. In conclusion, the 1995 P Monticello Jefferson nickel in fine condition is not just a piece of American currency, it's a collectible that holds a unique place in the hearts of numismatists. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, understanding the value of these coins can enhance your collecting experience. Next up, the 1992 large date with a D mint mark, and we're talking about its value even if it's in bad condition. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, stay tuned because this coin might surprise you. Let's start with some background on the 1992 Roosevelt dime. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death. It's been a staple of American coinage ever since. Now let's zoom in on the 1992 version. In 1992, the U.S. Mint released two types of dimes: the standard 1992 dimes and the 1992 large date version, which is distinguished by a noticeable difference in the size of the numbers in the date. This was a change made during production, and it's part of what makes the 1992 dimes so interesting to collectors. Next, let's talk about the mint mark. The 1992 Roosevelt dime was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver. The Denver Mint produced the coins with the D mint mark, which stands for Denver. These coins are more common than the ones minted in Philadelphia, which have no mint mark at all. Now, here's the tricky part: the coin's condition. You might have heard the saying, condition is everything, and that's especially true when it comes to coins. A coin in pristine, uncirculated condition will always be worth more than one in poor, worn-out shape. But what about a coin in bad condition? Does that mean it's worthless? A coin described as being in bad condition usually means it has heavy wear, scratches, discoloration, or even damage, but it's still a genuine piece of currency. The 1992 dime with a D mint mark, even in bad condition, still holds value. It's important to note that the value will be much lower than a coin in excellent condition, or even one that's graded as fine or very fine. So how much is this coin worth today in bad condition? The 1992 Roosevelt dime with D mint mark typically ranges from about $26,000 in today's auction market. While that's not a huge amount compared to a coin in mint state, it's still a piece of U.S. history. It's important to remember that dimes like this are often found in pocket change or circulated heavily, so their value can be influenced by factors like wear, environmental damage, and cleaning. While it's not a high-dollar coin by any means, it's still a coin that collectors keep an eye on, especially if they are looking to complete a collection of Roosevelt dimes from different years. Plus, you may find that some auction houses or collectors are willing to pay a bit more for a 1992 large-date dime with unique wear patterns or other characteristics. Let's take a deeper look at what might affect the value of your 1992 dime. For collectors, things like rarity, mintage numbers, and the specific condition of the coin can play a huge role. While 1992 dimes are fairly common, if your coin has a unique characteristic, like a certain error or unusual wear, it could make it more valuable. Next up, the 2005 Roosevelt dime with P mint mark in good condition. You might be wondering, is this coin worth anything? How much could it fetch in today's auction market? Let's dive in and find out. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his passing, and it has remained a staple of U.S. coinage ever since. The 2005 issue is a part of the series that features a portrait of Roosevelt on the obverse, designed by John R. Sinnock, and on the reverse, you have the torch, olive branch, and oak branch symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. So, what makes the 2005 Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark unique? The P mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the main facilities for minting U.S. coins. The 2005 release was part of a regular issue of dimes, and coins with the P mint mark are often considered less rare than those minted in other years or at different mints. But we're specifically talking about the coin in good condition now. In the world of coin grading, good is one of the lower grades. It indicates significant wear on the coin, but not to the point where it's unrecognizable. You'll likely see some flattening of the details, but the overall design remains visible and the date and mint mark are legible. Now let's talk about the current market value. For a 2005 Roosevelt dime with P mint mark in good condition, the value is relatively modest in today's auction market. You're typically looking at a value ranging between $2,000. This is because, while the coin is part of regular minting, it's still quite common to find on the market. However, the price can fluctuate depending on demand and any other factors, such as whether the coin has any particular historical significance era or if it's sold as part of a larger collection. For example, coins in slightly better condition, such as those graded very fine or extra fine, can go for higher prices. As for the long-term value, because the 2005 Roosevelt dime is a regular issue coin with a relatively large mintage, it's not likely to increase in value significantly unless it is part of a set or contains an error. Most of the interest in the 2005 dimes will remain low unless a specific rarity or condition factor comes into play. In conclusion, a 2005 Roosevelt dime with P mint mark in good condition is generally worth between $3,000 in today's auction market. While not a highly valuable coin on its own, it still holds its place in the vast world of U.S. numismatics, and if you find one in great condition or with some rare characteristics, it could be worth more. Next up, the 1987 Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel with mint mark, especially when it's in fine condition, so if you're interested in learning about its value in today's auction market, stay tuned because we're about to break it down. Alright, let's start with a bit of background on this nickel. The 1987 Jefferson nickel is part of the regular series of 5-cent coins issued by the US. Mint the obverse features a profile of President Thomas Jefferson, which was designed by Felix Schlag. On the reverse you'll find Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, which has been the standard reverse design for these nickels since 1938. Now, the 1987 Jefferson nickel, with the D mint mark, means it was minted in Denver. This mint mark is found just to the right of Monticello below the dome of Jefferson's home. The D mint mark is a common feature on many of the US coins minted during this era, but that doesn't mean the coin doesn't have value. Before we jump into the value of this coin, let's talk about what fine condition really means. A coin in fine condition typically shows noticeable wear, but the main features are still visible and distinguishable. On this nickel, you'll still be able to see Jefferson's portrait with clarity, as well as the details on Monticello's structure on the reverse. In fine condition, the coin has a bit of wear from circulation, but it's still a nice example of this classic piece. But there's more to the story. While the 1987 Jefferson nickel may not be one of the highest value coins on its own, its value can change based on a few important factors. Let's talk about those now. First up, rarity. The 1987 nickel isn't considered rare, far from it. The US Mint produced over 500 million of these coins, so they're easy to find. However, if you come across a specimen that has a minting error or an unusual feature like an off-center strike, that could dramatically increase its value. Always be on the lookout for those unique traits. Third, graded coins. If you get your 1987 Jefferson nickel professionally graded by services like, or it can give you a better idea of its exact condition and could increase the marketability of the coin. Grading can take a simple nickel and turn it into a more valuable collector's item if it's in particularly good shape. To recap, the 1987 Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel with D mint mark in fine condition is valued in today's auction market at about $47,000 if you have a coin in better condition or one with a unique error. That's where you could see its value increase. But for the most part, it's a great coin to hold on to, especially if you're building a collection of US nickels. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you found this helpful or interesting, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We've got plenty more coin-related content coming your way. Leave a comment below if you have any questions about this coin or if you want me to cover any other specific coins. Until next time, happy collecting. Next up, the 2015 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark in fine condition. Stay tuned to find out its value in today's auction market. Before we get into the value of the 2015 D Roosevelt dime, let's take a quick trip down history lane. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, just after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, to honor his legacy. He played a huge role in the creation of the March of Dimes, which helped fight polio. That's why the dime features a profile of Roosevelt himself, a classic design that's been with us for decades. The 2015 edition, like all dimes minted after 1965, is made of a copper nickel-clad composition, with a weight of just 2.27 grams and a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, but don't let its size fool you. This little coin can be valuable depending on its condition and rarity. So what makes the 2015 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark stand out in today's auction market? First, let's talk about the mint mark. The D mint mark indicates the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, which is one of the primary mints for producing US coins. While the Denver Mint produces millions of coins each year, there are still some unique factors that can drive up the value of certain coins, including the 2015 dimes. Now, when it comes to coins, the term fine condition is used to describe coins that show moderate wear but still retain a lot of their detail. For a 2015 dime, a coin in fine condition would have visible wear on Roosevelt's portrait, and the reverse side featuring the torch, olive branch, and oak branch may show some slight fading, but all of the main details should be intact. Coins in fine condition are often found in circulation, which means that they might have been used in daily transactions. However, don't be discouraged if your 2015 Roosevelt dime has some wear and tear. It can still be worth something, especially if it's a part of a rare coin set or has some unique characteristics. So, the big question: how much is the 2015 Roosevelt dime with the D-Mint mark worth in today's auction market? Based on the latest auction data and sales trends, a 2015 Roosevelt dime in fine condition typically sells for around $2,000. Yes, it's not a huge sum of money, but it's not insignificant either. This price is primarily driven by collectors who are looking to complete their sets or who may be seeking coins from specific years or mint marks. Now, you might be wondering why this coin isn't worth a lot more. Well, as we mentioned, the 2015 Roosevelt dime isn't a rare coin, and there weren't any special minting errors or production anomalies that would drive up its value. It's the same standard dime that most people used in their pocket change in 2015. Alright, let's say you have a 2015 D Roosevelt dime, and you're ready to sell. Where should you go? You have a few options. You can check online marketplaces, coin shops, or auction platforms. Websites like eBay, Heritage Auctions, or Great Collections often list coins for sale and can give you a sense of what similar dimes are going for. But keep in mind, the price you get will depend on the demand for that specific coin at the time of the auction. Coin prices can fluctuate, and if your coin is listed during a particularly slow period, you might not get as much as you'd like. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this coin analysis, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Have you found any 2015 Roosevelt dimes in your collection? What's the most valuable coin you've ever come across? We'd love to hear about it. Until next time, happy collecting.